When it comes to prestigiously badged, compact executive German cars, traditional thinking suggests that estates are fine, but five-door hatchbacks aren't. Audi, however, hasn't made it to the top of the pile by traditional thinking, and their A5 Sportback aims to turn such thinking on its head, with coupe styling married to a couple of rear passenger doors and hatchback practicality. You can't imagine, nor would Audi, BMW or Mercedes ever offer you, a five-door hatchback version of their saloon or estate compact executive models. The prestige German brands rather look down their noses at that sort of thing, leaving it to mainstream Mondeos, Lagunas and Vauxhall Insignias. Yet a nicely styled five-door hatch can look very coupe-like, which is what an increasing number of buyers, especially in fleet circles, are looking for. The style of a sports car, yet to keep the fleet manager and or your partner happy, the added practicality of four passenger doors. Suddenly, with cars of this kind, it isn't only the MD that can have the slinky sports coupe in the corner of the office car park. Volkswagen's Passat CC proved that buyers were prepared to pay a premium for a basic design that kept four passenger doors but built them into a coupe silhouette, clothed in familiar mechanicals. Now, the A5 Sportback aims to pull off a similar trick, but with even swoopier styling, courtesy of five rather than four doors. A5s run on A4 mechanicals, so this is essentially the A4 hatchback that the German brand could never be seen to build. Or is it? Let's find out. Now, since under the skin, the A5 Sportback is exactly the same as any of Audi's A4 or A5 models, you might expect it to be exactly the same as any of those cars to drive. But that's not quite true. In its wisdom, Audi has decided to make this car a bit softer and more GT-like, which might not suit those used to the more focused approach of the Audi A5 coupe range. Now, you could opt for the stiffened S-line trim to try and sort this out, but the result is rather over-firm for British roads. Fortunately for enthusiasts set on an Audi, wanting an A5 and needing those extra doors, a better extra cost package is available. Called Drive Assist, it transforms the car through tweaks to everything from the suspension to the gearbox, the throttle mapping to the steering, via preset comfort, auto, dynamic and individual settings. Now, it costs an extra couple of grand, but it really ought to be standard, since there's something here to suit every driving preference. All models get the latest version of Audi's ESP stability control system with an electronic differential lock that mimics the action of a mechanical limited slip differential to give you improved steering response on the twisty stuff and better traction out of corners. To be honest though, you're more likely to notice the really excellent refinement of this car. Audi have managed that despite these frameless windows, and that really suits its grand touring demeanour. The optional twin-clutch DSG semi-automatic gearbox that I'm trying here is equally well suited to this sort of journey. One that could be completed with even greater peace of mind if you've the money to tick the extra cost boxes for electronic gadgetry that prompts you if you're about to drift out of lane, warns you if there's a car in your blind spot, dips the headlights for you at night, and even brakes for you if you're about to hit another car. As with the A5 Coupe, only the nicest of the A4's engines make it under the bonnet, and all but the entry-level version of the 167 brake horsepower 2-litre TDI 4-cylinder diesel version feature quattro 4-wheel drive. Now, this entry-level diesel variant has a hefty 350 Newton-meters of torque and features a fuel-saving stop-start system for cutting the engine in urban jams or at the traffic lights. If you're not watching the fuel gauge quite so much, the alternative 6-cylinder diesels, 187 brake horsepower 2.7 and a 236 brake horsepower 3-litre, are equally tempting options. Mainstream petrol choices centre on the 4-cylinder 208 brake horsepower 2-litre TFSI petrol engine borrowed from the Golf GTI that I'm driving here. Now, rest to 60 in 6.6 seconds means that this unit all but matches the performance figures of the smoother but thirstier 261 brake horsepower 3.2 litre FSI V6. But if that's not quite fast enough for you, there's even a 333 brake horsepower S5 version. Imagine what an Audi A4 saloon might look like if it had a hatchback, was slightly wider and lower, and had an A5 coupe nose, and you're pretty much picturing this Sportback model. To be fair, you wouldn't guess its A4 ancestry at first glance. Although just 8mm longer, it's a significant 26mm wider, and has the A5 coupe model's wavy waistline and frameless doors. The extra width and slightly longer wheelbase ought to create cabin space that puts this car somewhere between Audi's A4 and A6 saloons in terms of rear seat size. But if it is, then you don't really notice, thanks to the designer's decision to fit only 2 seats at the back here. That'll be an irritation for family users. Still, legroom at the back is perfectly adequate, and contrary to expectations, so is headroom, despite that coupe-style roofline. Luggage space in the long flat loading bay is pretty much the same as you'll get in an A4 saloon or Avant Estate, 480 litres to be exact, which you can extend to 980 litres by folding down the split folding rear seat. There's also the option of a ski hatch in the middle for long thin items. Now, a neat touch is the rear parcel shelf, which is split 70-30 with the larger part permanently attached to the tailgate, so it lifts out of the way when you raise the rear hatch. The smaller part is a hinged shelf, which can be pulled out of the way for easy access to the luggage area. On the negative side, there is quite a high loading lip to lump heavy stuff over. There's no rear wiper for the tailgate. Audi says owners won't need it. And for shorter owners, there might be quite a stretch to shut this down. For some reason, Audi has decided that Sportback A5 models should cost less than their coupe counterparts. You're looking at a saving of between £700 and £1,000. But that's still around £1,600 more than an equivalent A4 saloon 4-door. Now, all of that means that you're likely to pay somewhere in the £25,000 to £40,000 bracket for your A5 Sportback, depending on the specification that you choose. Audi says that this car doesn't have any immediate rivals, but you might beg to differ on that. If you don't need the 5th door, then Volkswagen's Passat CC in its pricier versions offers the same kind of thing, but doesn't have the same kind of badge equity. If you don't care about that, then to our eyes, fully kitted out Vauxhall Insignia 5-door models look just as coupe-like. A5 Sportback customers in search of diesel power have a variety of choices. There's an entry-level 168 brake horsepower 2-litre TDI 4-cylinder, or a couple of 6-cylinder options, a 187 brake horsepower 2.7 or a 236 brake horsepower 3-litre TDI. If you're looking for petrol power, then your search will start with the engine I've got here. It's a 208 brake horsepower 2-litre TFSI unit, and it sits just below the 261 brake horsepower 3.2 V6 FSI. At the top of the range, there's a 333 brake horsepower 3-litre supercharged unit. Now, transmission, there are 3 choices. You've got a 6-speed manual or a couple of automatics, an 8-speed Multitronic, or an even more advanced 7-speed S-Tronic twin clutch system. Standard equipment across the range includes things like cruise control, a decent quality stereo, and Audi's MMI driver information trip computer. Audi is narrowing the cost of ownership gap to rivals BMW, but it hasn't quite got there yet. Still, 54.3 miles to the gallon on the combined cycle, along with 137 grams per kilometre of CO2 emissions for the entry-level 2-litre TDI variant, certainly isn't bad, and it's aided by the start-stop system that variant has that shuts down the engine in urban jams and the traffic lights, and it's unique to the 2-litre TDI variant. Now, the 2-litre TFSI petrol model that I'm driving here manages 43.5 miles to the gallon on the combined cycle and 152 grams per kilometre of CO2. Insurance is between 14 and 17 for mainstream variants, and residual values should be pretty much the best in the class, thanks to this model's relative rarity on UK roads. It'll certainly be better than an Audi A4. Whether there's a gap in the market for a hatchback version of a prestigiously badged compact executive saloon or estate is less of a question than whether there's room amongst the German market leaders in this sector for something with swoopier styling and an added dose of charisma. Though the answer to the first question is almost certainly a resounding no, the answer to the second is much less clear-cut. So much so that we don't imagine Audi will have any problem in shifting the relatively small number of A5 Sportback models it intends to bring here. Whether the people who buy them will be conquest customers is another issue entirely, of course. But when you're offering models to suit every conceivable market niche, you can never be quite sure of that. One thing's certain though, here's another very desirable Audi.